1980, I was writing a book, and I needed some dialogue. So I went to the Bassett's ice cream counter and said, could I work here for a day? The market was this wonderfully seedy place. There weren't a lot of stores in here. I think there were 23 businesses in here, and this, where we're sitting, this was all nothing. It was walk-in boxes, and it was dark, but it was interesting. It was a forgotten place in the city. So I was scooping ice cream that day. The president of the Reading came through, and he said, what are you doing here? He said it was high time that I joined the world of industry and commerce. And the Reading Company was just getting out of bankruptcy at that time, and he asked me if I wanted to work in the market.
The thing that I like most about Dave is that we only had 25, 27 of the old businesses, the Margrams, the Bassett's, and the Moyers, and the Stellas, and all that, and he really kind of tried to blend a mixture of eating establishments, more produce. He's brought in, he helped bring in to the market the Korean produce counters, and he really worked.
Between the Reading Company and the Pennsylvania Convention Center Authority.
The Convention Center, as we've all heard about, is being built across the street from the market. And the entrance to the Convention Center will be through the old Reading train shed directly above the market.
It means a lot of different things for the market, both good and bad. The market has not had any kind of major investment for many years now. And so the transfer means that the market will have now major investment in terms of improvements in its systems, plumbing, electric, HVAC systems, as well as just general improvements to the roof.
For 2 years or a little better, they've been just tearing down, not building up anything, leaving this area and this neighborhood a little barren in a way. All of the offices that were here and customers that we knew have been relocated to other locations. So at this point, just to see a new owner come in and know that things are going to start to move forward, I was happy to see that take place.
I had a lot of, and still have a lot of, anxiety and concern about it. It's a big project. In some respects, I think it represents putting essentially a refrigerator right in the middle of the city, where you've got a convention center that's going to be busy, and then it's going to be a void, and there's going to be nothing happening here.
On any given day, there'll be 1,500 to 2,000 construction workers between the hotel, working on the new hotel between 12th and 13th and Market, and the convention center. They start eating hoagies about 8 o'clock in the morning, so somewhere around there. So that's good for me.
I wouldn't want to see it become a food hall. I've seen that happen even at home in the town of Intercourse, where, you know, after it becomes too much of a show place, then your local people aren't going to be shopping there, and that is a concern, because we want to keep it for the local merchants and the people that of course buy, and that's how you pay rent. You know, you can't pay rent, people taking pictures of your stalls, you know.
The new management for the Reading Terminal Market will be composed of many elements. There will be a real estate management company, Strauss Greenberg, that will have input. The Merchants Association has been funded to hire staff. They will have input. The Reading Terminal Market Preservation Fund will have input. The lease and services agreement that was approved by the city of Philadelphia, allowing the convention center to go forward, has given the city some input. So the the controls or the directions of the market are going to come from many angles. And I think in one way that web of protection can be good, but in another way it could be a little shaky because political agendas external to the Reading terminal market could have some play into the situation. Strauss Greenberg is an established real estate firm that manages large office buildings, shopping malls, multi-million-dollar real estate complexes, I think all over the United States. I mean, they're very well respected in the industry. And I don't think they have any experience running an old city market, though.
We have a tremendous advantage in that the market manager who's working with Strauss Greenberg, Bill Gardner, originally worked at the Reading Terminal Market.
When we were first approached by the Convention Center Authority or the city representatives, they actually wanted to close us down. They wanted to compensate us and say, come back when the convention center was built. But we were of the opinion that if they closed us down, our businesses would fail and our customers would leave us, and there would never be another Reading Terminal Market the way we know it today. So we negotiated with them.
What they're going to be doing probably in about a year is working on the market in thirds. There's an arcade across the street on Filbert that's not currently being used for anything commercial that will be used to take displaced merchants while their areas are being, let's say, re-supported, re-strengthened. It's not so much renovation. We don't want people to feel as if it's going to become something glitzy.
It's really scary. I don't even have any idea how that's going to be. I mean, people are really creatures of habit. They don't like to change. I mean, I know we're lazy. You know, who wants to go find something when you're used to finding it in the same place all the time?
There are a series of guidelines as well as lease restrictions that have been negotiated on behalf of the Merchants Association and the city, which will protect the market and make sure that the mix of merchants in the market today will stay pretty much the same as it is into the future. There are not going to be any national chains permitted in the market. There are not going to be any more lunch places allowed in the market, and there are going to be attempts to increase, in fact, the number of produce dealers, the number of fish places, the number of meat purveyors, so that we make sure that we stay a food market for our Philadelphians.
I think no matter what anybody says, the nature of everybody's business is going to change because you're going to have conventioneers in from out of town, and everybody's going to want to try to make some money from these people as well as sustain their regular customer base. And if you're a produce person or a meat person, how are you going to convince somebody who, you know, has come from, you know, Sacramento or San Francisco that you should take this steak from this market, that it's so good that it needs to travel for, you know, the next 2 days back to California?
We don't know who's going to make it and who's not. We're hoping that everybody will get through this. We don't know ourselves. You know, this is a new ball game for us because you're going to have conventioneers here. Is it going to interfere with our customers, my customers? Eating establishments, I don't think they'll have a problem. It's the meat, the poultry, the produce. These are the people that are, it's questionable.
There are so many things in our public lives right now. We are observers, and we're looking at things that other people have created for us. But you come into the market, and you are part of this thing. You are helping to create it. You are helping to maintain it. You are helping to save it. And I think people feel so alienated now that they come into a market and there is this great warmth, and there are some rough edges to it, but even that gives people a sense of, yes, this is something that is real, and they participate.
Stay tuned for Kwanzaa, a cultural celebration. Next, followed at 9 by Campion on Mystery, here on TV 12.